I'm gonna share seven hacks, seven mindset hacks for innovation and funding. I'm going to say the first one, give few comments, move to the second one, third one, go to the end. This may be one slide, but it has taken decades of experience. This is series one. This is a new series we have started today, training series with Boss Capital Partners, which is said from innovation to funding. And the first one is mindset. So we are going to talk briefly about mindset, seven mindset hacks for innovation and funding. So the first one is fostering collaborative mindset, which is our values, our core value of Pitch Global. To give an example, we are mentoring two companies out of the many we are mentoring on behalf of US government funded programs in Northern California. And the founder of the two companies, Cargo Chief and Telemetrac, both, even though they both attended Harvard Business, they met at our event. And Cargo Chief became investor advisor to Telemetrac because, someone else could have thought of them as competition, but they felt this is about how creating ecosystem. And now Telemetric got grants, and now Cargo Chief is getting help uh, how Telemetric got grant. So this is how, if you can become collaborative, that means develop collaborative mindset for others instead of looking at them as competition. Ultimately, you will develop collaborative mindset for within you, and it will create empathy for yourself, and you will look within, and you will be able to make your mindset, more conducive to your success. So what is mindset? Point two, our experience shapes our beliefs. That means when we undergo a positive experience, we get a positive mindset. We undergo a many negative experience, we get a negative mindset on that particular thing. Like for instance, someone who's never had a car accident will be will have a certain set of mindset about driving on the freeway. But if unfortunately that person gets into a car accident, that person's mindset about driving on the freeway will make a change. It has to be, that's human nature. So basically our experience shapes our beliefs, and which shapes our mindset. So that's the second point. Then three is, what is unique about Silicon Valley mindset? It is tolerance to failure, which means someone starts a company and fails in most part of the world, that will give him a negative mindset. It has to, or her, a negative mindset, because that's the nature of the mind. However, Silicon Valley ecosystem is very conducive to treating a failure up to a certain point as a badge of honor. And tolerance for failure says, okay, you have learned. Now next time you won't make the mistakes. So that is the Silicon Valley mindset, which goes against human nature, against normal grain of how we usually would get affected through our experience, negative experience. So basically, you can have a positive outcome even from a negative experience, which in normal cases is not the case. And how to have an innovation mindset. This is also tied to the following point, how to engage all three parts of the mind, reptilian, emotional, neocortex, which means most of the time our mind, a big portion of our mind is reptilian brain, a small portion is neocortex, that which generates thought and cognition, and in middle we have the emotional brain. So the thing is, in order for you to be innovative, you cannot do more of the same, or you cannot work even harder, because you already work as an entrepreneur, you're already working very hard. So a couple of examples of how innovation took place. Take the example of the printing press. Gutenberg went wine tasting and saw wine presses and got the idea of printing press. So if Gutenberg just stayed at home or is in his home office and worked even harder, he wouldn't have had the breakthrough innovation. So in order to have an innovation mindset, you got to rest and relax and also expose yourself to domains from outside your normal reality, because that's where, from your context, the new ideas will come from. That's why people like Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, they all talk about the books they are reading, because that's where, and especially these books would be from outside their syllabus or outside what they do. So how to engage all three parts of the mind? This is huge topic. You can read more on them. But the key is, most of the time human beings are, yeah, human beings are about operating from survival mode. So you have to, as Mira says, connect the dots and also create the context so that the dots would connect in a non-linear way. So you got to keep the playing field so that you rest, relax, connect with friends and family. All these things are also dots in your world which can create innovation. So now we come to the last 2 points: how to understand the mindset of investors, especially CVCs, for funding and partnerships. Uh, you got to understand that it's not one size fit all. You got to do the research, you got to have empathy, and you got to understand what people are really looking for. And if there are multiple general partners in a VC firm, or if it's a large corporation, like we hosted IBM Ventures last month, and they talked about how the various ways by which people can connect within within IBM. That's great. Even Boss Capital Partners is a huge fan of Stephen Covey. They are, Greg Shepard always talks about Stephen Covey. I love, begin with the end in mind and sharpen the saw. Wow. I also am a huge fan. So how to understand the mindset of investors is, you got to first acknowledge that it's not one size fit all. You got to, and then, just taking IBM's example, if the normal perception may be IBM companies are too small. If you are not at a certain stage, IBM may not be interested. However, there are areas like quantum computing where they are investing a lot. They are really seeking how to find the next big thing there. So if you are a quantum computing entrepreneur and even very small, you may not even consider IBM. But you know what? You got to do the research. You got to not break away from the limiting beliefs and see how you can make things happen even in a nonlinear way. And the last point is, which I always emphasize, how to shape the perception of investors. When you're presenting to strangers, they will judge you, because the judgment is a nature of the mind. I mean, if I say I don't judge, I have no judgment, it only means my IQ is zero and I'm a zombie, which is not possible. So but you got to shape the judgment in your favor by maximizing your perception, which is, and that you can do is upfront. Beat your own drums. First 50 seconds, don't even present. Just talk about yourself, your co-founder, your team, how great you are. If you say that, top 4 or 5 things which make you unique, you can even say, in my last company, I exited, or I was VP here, or I have a PhD, whatever it is. First 30, 40 seconds, you got to make the glass half full rather than half empty, so that people look at you with more attention. So on that note, these are the 7 mindset hacks for innovation and funding. And I hand over the floor to Axel.